If you were to ask me what was my favorite Disney movie, it would be a toss up between two: Treasure Planet and Aladdin. Interestingly enough, both centered around boys. Now, don't get me wrong, I was into the princess stuff too. I'm an equal opportunity animation watcher, but there was just something so fun about the style of Aladdin. Aladdin himself just had this swagger. I know we use that term in various different weird ways, but Aladdin was cool. He was always staying as calm and collected as possible in the most adverse situation, no matter what came his way. He was adventurous and fun natured. He wasn't stuffy and as uptight as so many other princesses and princes of the past. He just had something to him. And Jasmine from the onset showed that she was capable. She could keep up with Aladdin damn near just as well as he could go about his business and not really have to worry about her too much. Yes, she needed saving from time to time, but when the guy you're fighting has the power of magic on his side, it's kinda to be expected you might get in a little trouble. But yeah, I fell in love with these characters, and especially I fell in love with the genie. Now listen, when the first movie came out, I was two, and I only really watched this movie because of VHSs, but I wore the VHS out. Repeated viewings, constantly, nonstop, all the time, and the genie was the main reason. He was fun, he was weird, he was quirky, he would do all this weird stuff. I didn't get any of the references, because again, little child, but at the same time, I just knew Magic Man does weird stuff, go burr. It was just fun, okay? That was it. That was all I needed. You got the adorable Abu, who was mischievous and would get into trouble. You got Iago, who talked like he had a bug stuck in his throat that he just wouldn't cough up, but that's Gilbert Gottfried in general. He had the fun that was the magic carpet for a thing that didn't talk too much. It was the most useful thing in this entire series outside of the genie. Like, dude, I would have loved to have had a magic carpet. It was amazing to see that first magic carpet ride to try to escape from the Cave of Wonders. Like, oh, that whole adventure is seared into my brain until the day I die. And the evil that was Jafar, he was slimy and sleazy, and after the Sultan and his fortune and trying to usurp his power and all that, it was just such a good recipe for a fun adventure. And that's what it was. And the way they defeat Jafar, not by killing him off or anything like that, but it was the fact that Aladdin used his wit. He used his wit to outdo this guy with all this power. And just having it be something clever that is Jafar's outdoing, I love that. I love that outside of the box thinking. And of course, I was a lifelong lover of Aladdin from that point onward. And the only thing that could maybe outdo how much I loved the first movie was the Return of Jafar. I know, direct to DVD video release, but I loved the VHS that I had. This thing came out when I was about 3 years old, and I ate it up because it was just like, Jafar's back and he has all this power and he's been unleashed upon Aladdin and his friends. He's come up with clever ways to get around the three wishes rule and all that, using the idiot Abismal. And I always love Abismal's name. Abismal is so fun. But using Abismal's greed to try to get one over on the good guys. And the fact that you didn't have that many new characters introduced in this. It was mostly the main core cast of characters. It was unfortunate Robin Williams didn't return, but I still love the movie. Genie came back from his world tour. It's been a year. He's ready to just see his friends and hang out and have a good time. Iago has managed to escape from the lamp and is trying to prove himself to be a good guy, an ally, and all that. Aladdin has been living in the palace and is dating Jasmine, and they've been having a good time and all that. And then in comes Jafar, mucking everything up, dividing our heroes, imprisoning them so he can torture them and gloat over them. But in the end, after a massive struggle, it's thanks to the efforts of Iago coming in, and because they thought he had betrayed them. But Iago had only worked with them because what else was he really going to do, honestly? But Iago proves himself towards the end and managed to make the sacrifice play, and ultimately Jafar is done in because his lamp is destroyed, which destroyed him? Question mark? Kind of hard to say. They imply that he's dead, but I don't know. Something about that feels too simple. But Jafar is dead. Iago manages to survive. He becomes part of the main cast of characters. It's fantastic. And then you got the animated series that I absolutely adored, because it's just like, yeah, of course there's more magic out in the world of Aladdin, more adventures to go on, more treasures to find, more people you would have to fight against and battle it out with. And I love some of the villains that they had him fight against, like Chaos, who was kind of like a Mr. Mxyzptlk or Batmite-like character who would cause all these problems. And, he wasn't a bad person, but he would always cause so much trouble. Or the Mukhtar. There we go, Mukhtar, who were genie killers and all that. That was intense. Some intense stuff right there. Genie killers. Or Sadira, who was actually a pretty fun character, and I loved how they eventually turned her over to the side of good. That was a lot of fun. But there were two characters who I loved above all else. Mirage, because I'm a furry, and she was pretty cool, and Mosenrath. Dude, the plot lines behind Mosenrath were the most fun, because it was like battling a younger Jafar. And I loved how Iago even called him Jafar Jr. Cruel, dastardly, evil, villainous, and always after Aladdin in one way, shape, or form. I don't know, there was just something so interesting about his character and how he took over the land of the black sand. Like, dude, that's such a metal name. And him trying to become one of the most powerful wizards in the world, trying to capture Genie, kill Aladdin. And it's not even like he appeared that many times. I think he appeared in like 10 episodes or something. And I will always be upset that the original plot line for the third Aladdin's movie was supposed to reveal that Mosenrath and Aladdin were brothers. And I'm just like, no, that is so friggin' cool. It explains so much about their characters and the weird rivalry that they had. You could have gone into their parentage and their lineage and their history, and it's just like, no, I want that. I want it. Finding that out made me love Mosenrath even more, because there's nothing to say that they aren't brothers. But by all means, in my head, they are brothers. And the fact that they never find it out is the most maddening thing possible. And don't get me wrong, the third movie was fun. I remember vividly when this one came out, where the other ones I was a little too young to fully remember when these came out. I remember when this movie came out because it came out around my birthday. I was turning 6. There were toys and so many advertisements for this movie. Like I would constantly see it in previews for different things here and there. And when the time finally came and I watched it, it was okay. I was more interested in Aladdin meeting his father and the marriage of Aladdin and Jasmine. That's what I cared about most. Genie, I love Genie, he was fine, but those were the two core things that I enjoyed in this movie. And it was fun. Honestly, Aladdin's dad was so cool. I thought he was so awesome. Like Kasim, he was so cool. And it really did feel like just an aged up Aladdin. You could just see the similarities between them oozing off of them. It's just like, man, Aladdin's gonna grow up to be a silver fox. I am all for that. I know that there was also a crossover with the Hercules TV series where you actually had Jafar return from hell. Well, technically the underworld, but honestly, everything that came out after the series, lukewarm at best. Once you got to that third movie, it was just like, yeah, this franchise is done. They capped it off with the wedding, so it's just like, yeah, okay, that's good enough. I don't know, I just feel like there were other opportunities you could have taken with this series that we'll never get to see. But with an animated series that had 86 episodes, yeah, man, you did all you really could. Like, you got close to 100 episodes, man. Like, that's it. You're done. It's over. Like, you've done as much as you really could do with this series. But man, I'm still hurting over the Mosenrath thing. I wanted more Mosenrath. I wanted them to focus more on Mosenrath. There really did feel like there was more they could have done with it. And to a certain degree, like, I want, because of today's TV standards and sensibilities, I feel you could really have a very good series going on here. But nah, I don't see it, especially after the live action movie that came out, which I was not feeling. It just wasn't for me. It wasn't my cup of tea. I'm just like, yeah, no, I'm not feeling it. I'm not digging it. It had its upsides and downsides, but at the end of the day, it wasn't the thing that caused me to fall in love with this series as a whole, and that was all there was to it. But I will always remember this cast of characters who just had these grand adventures, because that's what I love. I love the idea of just having more adventures, as many adventures as there are sands in the desert. I remember always being ready for more adventures of Aladdin, and I will always be ready for more adventures from the cast of characters that I grew to know and love in my childhood. But let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. What was your favorite part of the Aladdin series? What was your favorite character? Who was your favorite villain? Did you have your furry awakening because of Mirage as well? And do you subscribe to the Mosenrath and Aladdin situation? Would you have loved to have seen that fleshed out a bit more? I really would have. And if you like this video, please like, comment, and subscribe to it. Hit the bell icon for notifications. And until next time, I've been Duuz-Diz-Din, and I will see you later. Bye-bye.